back to the Tactical Den podcast. This video, I want to go over just AR-15 basics, nomenclature, how to operate, how to load, malfunctions, and all of that stuff. Just your basic user guide for your average AR-15. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I'm at the range a lot, right? And I'm usually there with a lot of beginner shooters, intermediate shooters, and I get a lot of questions, right, on just, hey, how do I clear this malfunction? How do I, ensure that my weapon is safe and clear, and stuff like that, right? I believe that everyone should know how to operate an AR-15 for, the ability to defend themselves, the people that they care about. And I realize that just not as many people as I think know all of the small details, the nomenclature, and all that stuff of the AR-15, right? So I know a lot of you guys that watch the channel probably know everything there is to know about AR-15s, and I don't doubt that, but I also know that there are some people in my audience, including my wife, that actually don't know as much about AR-15s as I would initially think that they do. So that's kind of why I wanted to make the video, and with that, let's jump into it. So I'm going to grab one of my AR-15s right here, right off the wall. This is my, you guys have seen it on the channel before, this is my IWI Zion 15. This is a 16-inch rifle. You guys have, like I said, you've seen it on the channel before. It looked a little different last time you guys saw it, but here it is. And first off, like I said, this is an AR-15 rifle. What classifies it as an AR-15 rifle is the fact that it has a 16-inch barrel and a full buttstock. So that's what classifies this as an AR-15 according to the ATF. And anything that's shorter than this, unless it's registered with a tax stamp, it needs to have a brace. Then it will be an AR pistol, not a rifle, but that still functions the same exact way that an AR-15 rifle functions, okay? So if you see something that looks like this, it's probably gonna function the same way, all right? So with that, let's get into it. So I store my rifles rack safe. That's how I store my rifles. It's just something that we do in the military. It's just something that I've adapted to do. So whether or not that's the best way, I don't know. That's just how I store it. So what rack safe means is it means that the weapon is on weapon is on fire. The weapon is on fire and the trigger has been pulled. So the hammer is forward, the firing pin is forward, there's no tension on the springs or anything like that. So the weapon is on fire and I have already pulled the trigger, and that is rack safe. So what we need to do now is we need to clear the weapon out. So before we do anything, like when it comes to handling it, when it comes to loading it, anything, we need to always ensure that our weapon is safe and clear. So how do we do that? So first thing to note is that you cannot put the selector on safe if the trigger has been pulled. So we have to rack the gun. So what we're going to do is we are going to lock the bolt to the rear. This is the first step. So locking the bolt to the rear. We're going to take this little ping pong paddled shaped looking thing, doohickey you could say. This is your bolt catch and your bolt release. So this is very important. Bolt catch, bolt release. All right, it's going to be on the left side of most AR-15s. So the way that I like to do it is I like to put one hand, my middle finger, I push down on the small part of the paddle, and then I'll take my other hand and I will grab the charging handle, which is back here. I'll grab the charging handle, and while pushing down on this, I will rack the bolt to the rear. And then I will let go of the charging handle first. Let go of the charging handle first, then you can let go of the paddle. Slide your charging handle forward until it clicks, so it's locked into place. So what this does now is now the bolt is locked to the rear. We can see right through. So the bolt is now locked to the rear. So from here, we can take our weapon and we can put it on safe because the hammer is now back. So the weapon is on safe now. So weapon is now ready for us to conduct our 3-point inspection to make sure that the weapon is safe and clear. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure the weapon is on safe. Weapon is on safe. That's the first part. Next part, obviously kind of goes hand in hand. Weapons on safe. There's no magazines inside of the magazine well. Now we're going to flip it to the other side. The next part is going to be consistent of making sure that inside of our chamber there's no brass. So you're going to look inside of the chamber. You're going to make sure there's no brass. Okay, it should be clear. Next, you're going to check the bolt face. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look at the bolt face, make sure that there's no obstructions, there's nothing on there, the firing pin's not stuck or forward or anything like that, or there's anything there that could potentially fire off the round if I close the bolt when there's a round in the magazine. So that is our 3-point inspection. So the weapon is safe, the weapon is clear. This is what we will always do before we do anything else with the weapon. We will always ensure that the weapon is safe, the weapon has been cleared out properly. Bolt has been locked to the rear. Right, our bolt's been locked to the rear. Everything is safe and clear. Now that everything's safe and clear, we're ready to load. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to press the big part, ping pong paddle, big part of it, the textured part. It's going to slam the bolt forward. Once the bolt's forward, take the dust cover and we're going to close it. That's just important to keep everything out of your bolt carrier group, your moving parts, all that stuff. It just keeps it nice and clean, nice and safe and protected in there. So once that's done, now we're ready to load our rifle. So what that's going to look like. I have my empty magazine here. I have a snap cap. This is not an actual round. It is a snap cap. So this will symbolize our fully loaded magazine. This is our fully loaded magazine. Now that we have a fully loaded magazine, we're going to take our rifles with the bolt forward. Weapon is on safe. We're going to insert our fully loaded magazine. We're going to smack the bottom of it as hard, get it up there, make sure it clicks, and then we're going to give it a little tug, make sure that there's no play, make sure that magazine's actually secured inside of the rifle. This is called a closed bolt load. So now, once we have this closed bolt load configuration, bolts forward, the magazine is in with a fully loaded magazine, the weapon is on safe, we will now load the actual rifle, the actual chamber with a round to make sure that we can now pull the trigger and we can actually shoot. So if you pull the trigger now, nothing will happen. The firing pin will go forward, but it won't hit anything because there's nothing in the chamber. So the gun will not go off. Right now, if I put the gun on semi, pull the trigger, the gun will not go off. So, to make it so we have a round in the chamber, super simple. We're going to take our hand, grab the charging handle, pull it all the way to the rear until it stops. We're not going to guide it forward. We're not touching the ping pong paddle this time. We're just going to let it go. That loaded the first bullet on top of the magazine into the chamber. So now if we pull the trigger, the gun will go off and then the rest will do itself, will work itself. So that is how you get from your closed bolt load to now your full load. You're ready to go. So if you put the weapon on semi, you pull the trigger, the gun will now work. So like I said, back into your workstation, pull it back just a little bit. Boom. I can see that there is a round right there. It's in the bolt. It's secured. It's where I want it to be. I'm gonna let go. Make sure that everything went back. Switch hands. Take my dominant hand and I can hit this failure button or my forward assist. Give that a couple hits just to make sure that the bolt is forward, it's fully seated, and when I pull the trigger, it will actually do what it's supposed to do. So now let's say you run into a jam, right? You're here, you're firing, boom, 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 and you get this. Click, no bang. There should have been a bang, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do something called an immediate action drill. The immediate action drill looks like this. You tap the bottom of your magazine, you grab your charging handle, and you just rack it. You pull it straight to the rear and let it go. And then it'll go forward, should seat the next round, and then you aim, and you pull the trigger. That's it. It's a simple tap rack. Tap, and you rack it. That's it. That is your immediate action drill. So every single time that there is a click, there's no bang, your gun did not go off. You pulled the trigger, you heard a little click, nothing happened, tap rack. That's it. You don't sit there, don't try to fiddle with it, figure out what's going on, tap rack. So now, if something happens, you pull the trigger, nothing's happening, there's no click, just nothing's happening, or you tried to do tap rack a couple times, nothing's working. Now we move into our remedial action drills. Okay, so the remedial action drill looks a little something like this. Okay, so we were firing, nothing's happening, we tried tap rack a couple times, didn't work. So now what we're gonna do, break the weapon down into our workstation, magazine out. Okay, we're taking the magazine out, we're stowing that away, whatever we need to do with it. We're looking at the chamber. Okay, what happened? Can I see if there's anything wrong, right? So I can't see that anything's wrong, bolts forward. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna rack. I don't see anything, send the bolt forward. Do it a couple times. Rack, send the bolt forward. Rack, send the bolt forward. Do that about 3 times just to make sure everything's cleared out in there. Give it a little shake. If there's brass stuck up in there, hold it back, kind of shake a little bit. Send it forward. Put the weapon back on safe. Take your magazine. Put your magazine back. Right? Put your magazine back, and then rack. Now you're good to go. That is your remedial action drill. So, in short, drop your magazine, check the chamber, attempt to put your weapon on safe, rack the gun 3 times at least, see if you can get whatever the jam is out. If there's like brass stuck in there, you give a little shake, take your magazine, put your magazine back in there, and then you're good to go. Give it a final rack, make sure that you get around in the chamber, and you're good to go. So, I don't want this to be a super drawn out video, just a lot of me rambling on, talking. However, I do think that it is useful for you guys to be able to kind of just get that refresher. I know it's useful for me, especially when you train for those high intensity situations. It should be second nature. The ability to have that tap rack bang, that immediate action drill burnt into your memory, the remedial action drill burnt into your memory, not having to think about taking your magazine, making sure that the ammo's the right way, put it in, give it a rack, and then being able to re-engage. That stuff you shouldn't have to think about. It should just happen automatically. And for a lot of us, it doesn't. So I hope this video is helpful for you guys. I had an aneurysm just then. And again, guys, if you enjoy the content, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're slowly building up the numbers. We're slowly building up that community. I enjoy making the videos for you guys. So if you enjoy watching them, let me know. I hope this video, like I said, I hope was helpful for you guys. And if you know a buddy that needs to learn a little bit more and be a little bit more comfortable with his AR-15, send him this video. And I'd love to hear from you guys. So, like I said, I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the video. Enjoy the rest of the channel. I'll see you guys next time.